The American economy is kind of driving in a car, like blah 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 blah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Teach them. You teach them that, hey, these are my rules, and this is how I like for you guys to behave. If you behave, I treat you well. If you don't behave, then we won't get along, and then nobody wins. So
I don't want to say too much without getting in trouble, but there's a lot of surveillance. Not saying like I'm trying to do anything illegal, but
Recently, China has not been an easy country for foreigners to live in due to the pandemic. So today, I'm going to be talking to a group of international English teachers that have been here for over 5 years. Whether it's easy for them to survive and the pros and cons of living as an English teacher here in China, and whether it's worth it coming all the way from their country to China just to become an English teacher. So what's your name?
my name is Tony.
at least
Where are you from?
I'm from South Africa.
USA.
So how long have you been in China?
I've been in China for a total of like 4 years, almost 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really long.
Yeah.
Well, it's 6.5. It's almost on 7. Studied for 6 years. Graduated in June 2022. So that was this year.
So how has it been like living in China?
Actually, it's been really great financially.
Wow, that means you must be making so much money.
Yeah, a good amount, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
I've been teaching English like part-time for like 5 years, so it's been up and down.
Yeah.
I've worked for some good schools, I've worked for some terrible schools, but this is how it goes. You learn along the way, but it's been a good experience.
Do you think like you leaving your country, South Africa, and coming over to China, worth it?
I think it was worth it. For my degree, it was 100%. And for my life right now, I think if I didn't leave, I wouldn't be in this dimension that I'm in of life right now. So yeah, it's pretty worth it.
Yeah, I would say like overall, I do like pros and cons list.
Yeah.
So every time I make the list, there's always more pros of me staying here. So like affordability, like China is maybe 4 or 5 times less expensive than the States. So, I'm in an apartment that I only pay 120 USD for, and maybe in the States it'd be 600. So just that alone is a big difference.
To compare South Africa and China, is there a big difference in terms of opportunities?
In terms of opportunities, major difference. China is just like years ahead, and the development is like mad, still going crazy, still going strong. South Africa is hit like a plateau where opportunities right now are not that good, but if we get over this this what you call this? It's not a crisis. It's not a recession.
Pandemic, okay?
Yeah. Because after the pandemic, obviously a recession will follow. But once we get over this recession, the opportunities will come back again. But in terms of the type of opportunities, it's like still like way ahead.
Good. What do you think about Chinese food?
Yeah, so actually before I moved here, I didn't really know anything about China. I had only been to Chinatown in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And when I came to China, I was like, I'm going to see if that's accurate. And it actually was really accurate. So representation in the States of China is actually pretty good. But I didn't know anything at all. Like I didn't even know ni hao when I first came. I didn't know anything. And so it was kind of like a culture shock.
Yeah.
Like a huge culture shock. But I think after like 4 months, you get like acclimated, right? Yeah.
So I think Chinese culture is cool.
Yeah.
And, they got the 5,000-year history and all that stuff. But to integrate myself, language-wise, yes, defo, 100%. Language-wise, I'm within. But cultural-wise, I tend to stick on to the more youthful side of the Chinese people right now. So I'm down with the lingo, I'm down with the habits, and I know the handshakes and the talk. I know how to talk the talk, walk the walk. But in terms of like the older generation and all that ancient stuff, like the super cultural one, nah.
But do you think it's easier to manage Chinese kids as an English teacher?
I think it depends on the environment. Like, so if you are in an environment where they have like a Chinese teacher in the classroom, it is easier. But you teach them. You teach them that, hey, these are my rules, and this is how I like for you guys to behave. If you behave, I treat you well. If you don't behave, then we won't get along, and then nobody wins. So, yeah, I think at the end of the day, managing kids is down to psychology. If you master them psychologically, you already got half the job done. So yeah.
Originally, when I came to China, I was in Shandong province and I worked in a training center. So I worked with like all levels of kids, but my favorite actually is university. But the
Money.
the money is actually in training schools. Yeah, training schools and international schools. The management there is also like pretty chill. That's also really important because if you have issues with management, your life is going to be hell pretty much. So yeah, it's always good, like management, diversity, and the workload can be a little bit stressful sometimes because I'm teaching 28 classes right now a week, opposed to university, I only had 8 classes. But if you stay on it, if you stay on top of it, then like it's okay.
Do you plan on going back to your country soon?
Yes, plan on going back home next year.
I'm not really sure. The American economy is kind of, I probably will go back at some point, but maybe not anytime soon.
What's the big difference between the States and China?
So I would say overall, like a big difference for me is safety.
Okay.
So like, even if you're a teacher, you're going to a movie theater, you're going driving in a car, like, blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter where you are. Like, at any time, you could get, like, gunned down, right? You're in a train, grocery store, like, it doesn't matter. Here, I don't have that problem. I can go anywhere, and I'm not, the only time I see a gun is when they're doing a drop at a bank, right?
Yeah.
And they have those fold-out guns, right? The other, I don't want to say too much without getting in trouble, but the other spectrum of that is there's a lot of surveillance, right? Like, which, I mean, is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing, right? They're always watching the CCTV, right?
Yeah.
Not saying like I'm trying to do anything illegal, but just knowing that you're always watched 24/7 is kind of like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, but the reason why it's so safe here is because of that, right?
Yeah.
So
if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that notification button, subscribe, like. Please, I need like 50 likes in this video. 50 likes, and if I could get 50 likes, I'll be happy. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one.